Hi friends, I hope all of you are doing well. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Elisa once again, back with a new chapter of 4 fundamental operations on integers. I've already spoken about the integers. So integers consist of all the positive numbers, negative numbers, along with the neutral number, which is a 0. So today we are going to talk about the operations which are performed on the integers. What are the operations? The operations which brings different integers together, okay? So that can be plus, that can be minus, that can be multiplication and division. So I'm going to speak about each of this operation and how it can be performed on the integers to take away or to add them. So I'm going to show everything to you today. So let's get started with addition. Before I move on and explain addition to you, it is very important to note few formulas, okay, which I will be giving you before I explain. So when you have a positive sign, that is the addition. When the operation is positive or when the operation is addition, and you have a certain number after it, okay, and you have a certain number after it. So maybe it is a 20 and you do not have any sign in front of 20, means it is considered as a positive sign. So when the operation is addition and you have a number after it, the signs inside the parentheses remains the same. So my answer will be a 20. So the positive sign does not change the sign inside the parentheses or any number. If there is no parentheses, plus 20, it is generally considered that there is a plus in front of a 20. Okay, this is operation. This is the sign which belongs to the number personally. Okay, this plus is the operation. So this 20 remains as 20. It doesn't change its sign. Now moving on to the next one. If the operation is addition and we have a negative 20 inside the parentheses, or it can also be written like this. When we have the operation as plus and we have a negative 20 tagged along with it, that means the plus is not going to change the sign in front of the number. So negative 20 remains as negative 20. So when the operation is plus, the sign doesn't changes. Okay, everything remains very normal. Very normal. It doesn't change any value of the number. The values remains the same. So following this rule that when there is addition, nothing changes, we are going to do few sums. Okay, so I'm getting started with the sums, or maybe let's call them examples, not sum but examples. Positive 8, positive 5. What does that mean? That means positive 8 remains as positive 8. The operation is addition. It will not change the sign inside the parentheses. So plus 5 remains as plus 5. And the answer is 13. Okay? Or it can be said positive 13. Okay? When we write a normal 13, it is considered that there is a positive sign in front of it. Moving on to the next example, we have positive 8, positive sign, and a negative 5. Again the same thing. I'm writing positive 8. Just because the operation is addition, there is a positive sign. The sign inside the parentheses does not change. It remains the same. Okay? So that would be 8 minus 5, and that is equal to a 3. And putting the sign of the number which is bigger, so that would be a positive 3. Okay? So we always put the sign in front of the answer which is in front of the bigger number. So the bigger number is 8 in the first scenario. So the answer which we got was positive 13. In the next scenario, the bigger number was 8 and the sign in front of 8 is a positive sign. So we put the sign as positive 3. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Next question is positive 8, positive, and we have already written positive, negative, so I guess that would be okay. So we are done with both the scenarios, right? So positive 8, positive 5, positive 8, negative 5. Now let's do this negative 8. Okay, so that would be a negative 8 and a positive 5. Negative 8 is written as negative 8. Positive 5 has got a plus sign in front of it. That means the sign tagged along with 5 does not changes. So positive 5 remains as a positive 5. When the signs are different, we subtract. So the answer is 3. And we put the sign of the bigger number. So the bigger number is 8. It has got a negative sign in front of it. The answer would be a negative 3. Next scenario we have negative 8 plus we have positive no, it's the question is the same. We have a negative 5 now. Okay, so when we have negative 8, I am writing it as negative 8. The sign, the operation which has been given is addition. So it does not change the sign which is tagged along with the next number. It is being very kind not to change anything. So negative 5 remains as negative 5. Now that the signs are same, negative 8, negative 5, we are going to add it. And we are going to put the sign which is in front of the bigger number. So the bigger number here is 8, which has got a negative sign in front of it. So the answer is going to be a negative 13. Okay, now moving on to the next part, let's go to subtraction. Let's see how does it differ from addition. So I'm going to write subtraction over here. What happens in subtraction? So subtraction is kind of powerful. It has the power to change the other's sign. When we have the operation, so this negative sign which I'm putting, actually I'm talking about the operation, okay? So when the operation is negative and we have a parenthesis, and the parenthesis, suppose it has a positive sign, positive 5. That negative sign, it has got so much power as to change the sign in front of the parentheses. So positive 5 is going to change to a negative 5. So when the operation is negative, the number which is to the right side of it, it always changes the sign of that number. So positive 5 changes to negative 5. It can be easily written in this way. We have a negative and we have a 5. So this negative is the operation, but this 5 still has a positive number along with it. That means we are going to put the negative 5 because this negative sign, the operation negative sign, is so powerful so that it can change this into a negative one. Okay, moving on to the next scenario. The operation is negative and the number inside the parentheses is negative 5. That means when the operation outside is negative, it is so powerful that it can change the sign inside the parentheses. So this -5 changes to a +5. Okay? Or it can be written in this way. We have a negative sign and we have a -5 over here. So this is the operation. It can change the value of this one to a +1. So the answer is going to be a +5. Okay? So that is all you need to know about subtraction. Now let's go to the sums. Maybe I can erase this and I can get started from here. So the first question which I have for you is +8 negative +5. What does that mean? That means 8 remains as 8. We have a negative sign outside the parentheses. So the sign inside the parentheses, it changes because this operation, negative operation, is very powerful. So +5 changes to a -5. When the signs are different, we subtract and we put the sign of the bigger number. So the bigger number is 8 and it has got a positive sign in front of it. So the answer is going to be +3. Next scenario would be +8. There is a negative sign and there is a -5. Okay. So 8 is written as 8. This operation is powerful because it is a minus operation. It can change the sign inside the parentheses. So this -5 becomes a +5. Both the signs are same. So we add. And we put the sign of the bigger number. So 8 is the bigger number. It has got a positive sign in front of it. So hence we put a +13. Scenario number 3. -8. We get a negative. That is the operation. And we have a +5 inside the parentheses. -8 is written as -8. The operation is given as negative, so it is so powerful that it can change the sign inside the parentheses. So this +5 is going to change as -5. When the signs are same, we add, just like we added over here. When the signs are same, we add, and we put the sign of the bigger number. So the bigger number is 8. It has got a negative sign in front of it. We put a negative sign. Moving on to the fourth scenario. So the scenarios which we are talking about is subtraction. I have erased the subtraction, the term subtraction, but we are talking about subtraction, okay? The fourth scenario is a -8. The operation is minus and okay. So -8 is written as -8. The operation is minus or negative. So that is so powerful, it can change the sign of the number inside the parentheses. So this negative sign changes to +5. The signs are different because -8, positive sign, +5, we are going to subtract. When the signs are different, we subtract. That is going to be a 3. But we are going to put the sign which is in front of the bigger number. So the bigger number is 8. The sign in front of it is negative, so I put a -3. Okay, so that was about the subtraction. That was the second operation of integers. Now I move on to the third operation. The third operation is multiplication. Okay, multiplication. Now I'm going to write the formulas first. Multiplication, when we have two positive numbers and we try to multiply them, we get a positive answer. Okay? When we have two negative numbers and we try to multiply them, we get a positive answer. So what does it mean? It means that when we have the same sign and we are multiplying them, we are getting a positive answer, right? Moving on to the next scenario. When the signs are different, okay, a negative and a positive, and we are trying to multiply them, we are going to get a negative answer. Same thing, positive times negative, we are going to get a negative answer, okay? So we come to the conclusion that when we are multiplying two numbers with the same signs, we get a positive answer. When we are multiplying two numbers with different signs, we get a negative answer, okay? So I'm just going to put the numbers over here. I'm not going to waste much of time. I'm just going to put the numbers here. Positive 2 times positive 3, that is 2 times 3. In easier sentence, that is 2 times 3. We are going to get a positive 6 as the answer. Negative 2 times negative 3. Let me check my 3 over here. So negative 2 times negative 3, we are getting a positive 6 as the answer. Negative 2 times positive 3. Negative 6. Positive 2 times negative 3. Our answer is negative 6. So when the signs are same and we multiply them, positive answer. When the signs are different and we multiply them, negative answer. As easy as that. Friends, I think you are going to get more used to it with practice. The more you practice, the more easier it becomes. Now I come to the division part. Okay, so I'm going to write the formulas first as usual. A positive number divided by a negative number gives us a negative answer. A negative number divided by a positive number gives us a negative answer, okay? Just like in multiplication, when you multiply two different signs, you get the negative answer, right? So over here also, when you divide two different signs, you get a negative answer. When you divide two same signs, you get a positive answer. When you divide two same signs, you get a positive answer. So let's take a very easy example. The easiest example would be positive 6 divided by negative 2. So the answer would be a negative 3. Negative 6 divided by a positive 2. The answer would still be a negative 3. Positive 6 divided by positive 2, the answer would be a positive 3. So this over here, it means 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. Negative 6 divided by negative 2, the answer would be a positive 3. Okay, so you have to remember these formulas before you proceed on to much tougher sums. So these formulas are really important to consider. Okay. Friends, I really thank you so much for all your help and support. I wish you all the best and I really appreciate your helping me. Thank you. You have a good one. Bye.